Every day I wake up, wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne. God, we are the Breakfast Club. The whole gang is late. If you're just joining us, the whole gang is going to be late all weekend. The UN is in town. They're stopping cars. They're pulling everybody over that has to drive in this area. So, like I said, they pulled me out the car. They searched the whole car, maybe lifted the trunk, the frunk, all sides. All the doors were open. They had the dog sniffing everything. So, I hope Jess ain't smoked before she got the word. But anyway, let's get in some front page news. Let's start off with some quick sports. Now, you know we do WNBA playoffs and NBA playoffs. That WNBA is in playoff season. So Mercury versus the Lynx. Mercury beat the Lynx 89-83. The Aces beat the Fever 90-68. And if you're a Giants fan, it looked like Jackson Dart is going to be starting over Russell Wilson. That's game 4 against the Chargers. Now, I feel like everybody who leaves the Giants do well. Of course, Saquon Barkley is busting ass. Daniel Jones,
3-0,
who's playing for the Colts, is 3-0 and is playing great, like great stats. But I guess we got that curse for a little bit. What's up, Mimi?
Good morning, Envy. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thanks. And congratulations to Madison. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, so you were talking about the UN and being late, and that is, of course, happening over the next few weeks. And President Trump, he was there yesterday. The UN is holding its 80th annual gathering. President Trump delivered one of the longest addresses by any American president, nearly an hour of combative remarks that drew sharp criticism and even some laughter from world leaders. Let's listen to some of what he had to say.
In Switzerland, beautiful Switzerland, 72% of the people in prisons are from outside of Switzerland. When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did, they repaid kindness with crime. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. Once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore.
So his speech went on for about an hour and a half of just different ramblings and different things like that. He went on to call climate change the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world and mocked wind power as pathetic. He also lashed out at the UN itself, saying all it does is issue strongly worded letters and doesn't solve wars. And there were a few lighter moments. He joked about the broken escalator when he got there. The escalator wasn't working, the broken teleprompter at one point. But overall, Trump's message was clear: close borders, keep drilling, and stop letting global groups decide politics. And so at 7, we'll talk more about Jimmy Kimmel, and we'll also get into what Trump was saying about Tylenol and what the maker of Tylenol is now saying.
Yeah, I see with Trump, nothing that he says is really based off of facts. This is just opinion and emotion, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's talking about the things that he's saying. There is no fact or there's no basis to what he's saying.
On any of it. And especially when we talk about the Tylenol stuff, there's no study. It's just, literally him just saying how he feels. And so there's been a lot of backlash about that too, Envy. All
right, we'll jump into that next hour. Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open again. 800-585-1051. Get it off your chest. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. Start off with some quick sports. Now, WNBA playoffs. The Mercury beat the Lynx 89-83, and the Aces beat the Fever 90-68.
Let's go, Aces. Come on, Asia. Need the Aces to win that series. You know what I'm saying? I need Asia Wilson and the Aces to advance.
Now, also, the Giants' rookie Jackson Dart is going to start over Russell Wilson in Week 4. It seems like everybody who leaves the Giants really do well. Saquon Barkley, of course. Daniel Jones is busting ass for the Colts. They're 3-0. So,
Sierra, I tried to tell you when you was up here. Okay, I tried to tell you when you was up here. The Giants are going to giant. Okay, and Russell Wilson deserves better. Russell Wilson has actually played pretty good. We don't
look too good. But what's up, Mimi?
Good morning. How are you doing, Charlamagne? Envy.
Good.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so now to the story that everybody is talking about, right? So there were so many big moments from Jimmy Kimmel's monologue last night. So we're going to just jump right in. After nearly a week of being off air, Jimmy Kimmel returned to a standing ovation, and he used the moment to take a stand for free speech. Fighting back tears, though, he addressed the controversy that got his show suspended. Let's listen to that.
But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. It was cool, you know what I'm saying? I didn't like the tears. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. The tears seemed a little forced.
That's fake?
The tears did seem a little forced, you know what I'm saying? And it was kind of an apology, but not an apology, sort of, kind of. Like he was tiptoeing around saying,
let me ask you a question.
Sorry.
But let me ask you a question. Like I said, I was totally off the grid. Did he say something that was very foul and disrespectful that required the tears and apology?
No. And here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Kimmel monologue from last night. Mm-hmm. I agree with everything he said about free speech, but people have to acknowledge Donald Trump has a hit list. Like, I don't know why these people are acting like, you know, like they actually said something, you know, super offensive, and so you know, people were mad about that. No, Donald Trump has a hit list, and Jimmy Kimmel is on that list. So any little thing Jimmy Kimmel does, Donald Trump is going to have the FCC on his ass.
And I think he said something to the fact that, you know, 100 people would have lost their job for a little joke. And did he say that something? Because I heard parts of it on my way in this morning as well.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that right now. And I knew you were going to say that about the tears, Charlamagne, just based on what we talked about yesterday. But he also got a chance to turn his attention to President Trump. And this is kind of what you're referring to, MB. Let's listen to what he had to say.
The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now.
That was good. I like that one. That was really good. You have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, he also took a moment to thank people who don't agree with him politically, but still defended his right to be heard. And let's listen to what he had to say about that.
I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. People who I never would have imagined, like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf.
I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired.
Oh, wait, no, not that. The other part.
But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying,
what you
we
can
don't
and can't
like
say
what you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like. That will end up bad for conservatives.
I don't think I've ever said this before, but Ted Cruz is right.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, Mimi.
No, go ahead, Charlamagne. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, you know, Trump, just please, Trump has a hit list, man. And Jimmy Kimmel is on it, and Sinclair didn't air him in a bunch of markets.
I was going to ask you, he wasn't aired in every market.
Yeah, they didn't air him in a bunch of markets because they're still at the mercy of Trump and the FCC because they have to get this merger with Tegna approved.
Yeah, and not only did Sinclair not air him in every market, Nexstar also joined in, and they did not air him in their markets as well. And so Jimmy Kimmel, he also went after the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, directly calling him unintelligent. And yesterday, like I just said, we told you about Sinclair Broadcasting and now Nexstar, who also owns ABC stations. They said that they're following suit and they're going to monitor the situation. But the political fight is still far from over because Trump is blasting Kimball's return on Truth Social. He wrote, ABC gave gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back despite bad ratings and accused the show of airing 99% Democrat garbage. He also suggested the decision could amount to an illegal campaign contribution and even hinted at suing again, bragging that he once got $16 million from ABC and claiming that this case could be even more lucrative. So.
Yeah, I did love when Jimmy Kimmel said what Trump and the FCC are doing to him is un-American, because it is. And, it's a direct attack on his First Amendment rights. And I know people say you have, freedom of speech. But, when you work for a company, you can't say anything if it's not in line with what that company is doing. But what about when that company is getting pressure from the government? You know what I mean? To not have you on just because the president, has you on a hit list and doesn't like what you're saying about him. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, meanwhile, in Florida, there's a verdict in the case of the man accused of trying to assassinate President Donald Trump. 59-year-old Ryan Ruth has been found guilty on all charges. I don't know if you guys remember this story. This happened last year. He was accused of hiding on his Florida golf course last year. So jurors deliberated less than 3 hours before convicting him of attempted assassination of a presidential candidate, assaulting a federal officer, and several weapons charges. Now, prosecutors say Ruth set up a sniper's nest near the 6th hole at Trump International, but he never fired a shot. Now, they presented weeks of cell phone records, surveillance, and search history showing that he stalked Trump, purchased a burner phone, and even looked up traffic cameras, flights to Mexico, and how to make a tourniquet. Now, after the verdict was read, chaos erupted in the courtroom. Ruth tried to stab himself in the neck with a pin. Now, that moment was captured on a courtroom sketch, yes. And his daughter, she cried out for help. Marshals, they had to wrestle him and drag him out. When he returned, he was in shackles. And he represented himself in this trial. He often clashed with the judge. In his closing, he argued that there was no assassination attempt because he never fired the weapon. But prosecutors countered and said that intent was enough to convict.
So what did they sentence him to? Did they feed him to the Gators?
Sentencing is, I believe, next month.
Oh,
and
okay.
He's up for life in prison. Yes. Absolutely. And so then there's more fallout this morning. We talked about this a little bit yesterday from President's claim of a link between Tylenol and autism. Now Tylenol's maker, Kenvue, is making it clear that there is no credible science connecting acetaminophen to autism. At a press conference on Monday, Trump promoted the unproven link. Let's remind ourselves of what he had to say.
Acetaminophen, is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol during pregnancy, can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good.
I'm surprised Tylenol didn't sue him.
I'm surprised too.
Well, I don't think they're taking that off the table. But what's happening is there are multiple reports that Kenvue is preparing for a surge in lawsuits themselves because of those remarks. So his warning telling pregnant women to fight like hell not to take Tylenol has already fueled fear and confusion among parents. But Kenvue says that Tylenol, of course, is safe for pregnant women, infants, and children when used as directed, and warns that spreading doubts can cause confusion. They also issued a statement to the Breakfast Club saying, in part, over a decade of rigorous research confirms there is no credible evidence linking acetaminophen to autism. We stand with public health experts who agree. So,
all right.
We shall see what happens with that. And so that's your front page news. I'm Mimi Brown. Follow me on social at Mimi Brown TV. And for more news coverage, follow the Black Information Network or download the free iHeartRadio app and visit BINnews.com.
Thank you, Mimi.
Hold up. Every day I wake up, wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?